Con ustedes, DAMON TOMPKINS, Vice President Worldwide Sales de Thycotic Centrify.
Good morning. My name is Damon Tompkins. I'm the SVP of Worldwide Sales for Thycotic Centrify. And over the past 25 years of my career, I've been involved in nothing but selling enterprise software. And I stand before you here this morning in complete sincerity to say to you that I've never been more excited about a company or a market space that we have before us here today. And the reason for that is that identity security is a ubiquitous need. Whether you're a global 100 multinational corporation or a small emerging enterprise, the need for PAM is ubiquitous across all verticals, all size companies, representing an enormous total addressable market. In addition to being a giant total addressable market, the competitive landscape for the products within identity security is relatively shallow. And so for each of you out in the audience today, this is representative of one of the greatest market opportunities before you. Of all the products in your portfolio, privileged access management and Thycotic Centrify should be at the top of your list in terms of your interest to go out and promote and sell to your customers. In addition to the enormous total addressable market and relatively shallow competitive landscape, the need for privileged access management solutions and identity security has never been greater. In fact, 85% of all the data compromises and breaches that have occurred over the past few years were the direct result of misuse or inappropriate use of credentialing. Therefore, privileged account management has consistently ranked number 1 or number 2 in CISO priorities in both Gartner and other widely held industry publications. Putting these three things together is incredible in itself. But then you add in the company. And I gotta tell you, I'm super excited about Thycotic Centrify. So what's the thinking between bringing Thycotic and Centrify together? At face value, it would seem that these two companies do exactly the same thing. They both occupy the leaders quadrant, the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for privileged access management. If you go to both the websites, they use similar language, similar terminology. It would seem that these two companies are seemingly the same, and the whole idea was just to simply consolidate two competitors. But the truth of the matter is when you pull back the covers of the two companies, they're actually approaching the issue, or the challenge, I should say, in very different ways. Thycotic was focused on what's known as PASM, or privileged account and session management. PASM is also synonymous oftentimes with vaulting. Vaulting technologies allow you to go out and take credentials that exist in your environment, privileged credentials, discover them, and bring them into an encrypted vault, add a layer of automation around them for better security. On the other hand, Centrify was largely focused on what's known as PETM. PETM is privilege elevation and delegation management. Centrify has had a widely regarded industry-leading product that started as a directory bridge or identity bridge. Identity bridging allows organizations the ability to use their core identity store, oftentimes Active Directory, to associate other accounts and entitlements from their Unix and Linux estates, as well as their credentials in AWS, GCP, and all the various cloud technologies that exist with their environments today. By consolidating identities and tying them back to Active Directory, it allows you the next core focus, which is the part of PAM and PETM that really matters, brokering. Brokering is the ability to offer just-in-time access to various assets within your IT environment without leaving any standing credentials on that particular target. Oftentimes, it's now referred to as zero trust. Zero trust has become somewhat of a buzzword in present day, but if you go back several years, you'll see that Centrify was a pioneer in zero trust, talking about this many years ago and offering solutions that allow organizations just-in-time access and, in essence, privileged account and privileged access management. So when you put these two technologies together, both PASM and PETM, you have the most robust and fully developed privileged account management product portfolio in the market today. By addressing both sides of the equation, the ability to go out, discover credentials, put them inside of a vault, lock them up, and add layers of automation and security around them and process, along with the ability to deprecate credentials off of targets so that you have less and less standing privilege, therefore making your systems and your environment hardened and more secure. We think that combining these two product sets is going to offer customers a much, much more fully featured, fully fleshed out security posture when it comes to privileged account management. Now, beyond just the two products and the core thesis, there's a lot of differences in the approach to the market. Thycotic was often known as and referred to as the organization that was easy to use, fast time to value, better by design in terms of organizations being able to adopt the product without a ton of resources necessary not only to stand it up, but maintain it over the course of time, having lower total cost of ownership and ultimately more success for organizations to actually bring a privileged account project to scale. So that design ethos is going to be carried forward into the combined company. On the other hand, Centrify was widely known for highly scalable, highly capable products in complex environments. Large name customers, Fortune 100 customers that highly depend on Centrify for brokering and bridging capabilities. We think that the industrial strength and scalability that comes with Centrify, combined with the good design and ease of use and ease of adoption from Thycotic, is going to create a winning formula for customers and make your jobs easier to sell the products. So how does this unfold from a product portfolio standpoint? On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see privilege elevation and delegation management. Let me walk you through the product portfolio. Server Suite, award-winning, widely regarded, Active Directory bridging, brokering, and auditing capabilities. This product's been deployed at thousands of customers worldwide, some of the biggest environments and most well-known name companies in the world. That will continue to be our flagship product in the PETM line of the two sides of the coin. Cloud Suite is exactly the same functionality, and then some, expressly done through SaaS or through cloud delivery mechanisms, modernizing your applications, freeing you from the burden of infrastructure, but still giving you the same capabilities associated with an industrial strength product around brokering and bridging. You can see the various capabilities associated with both products. So whether it's authentication and identity consolidation, privilege elevation and delegation, that being the brokering, as well as rich auditing and monitoring services so that you have full, robust audit trail in the event of forensic needs. Above and beyond the Server Suite and Cloud Suite, Thycotic brought to the table a product called Privilege Manager. Privilege Manager is a very similar concept. The concept with Privilege Manager is that you want to have least privilege, not necessarily on your admins and your servers, but at the endpoint, at the edge, where you have line of business users engaging with laptops and desktops. Allowing everyday line of business users full Windows admin rights on a PC exposes organizations to a ton of vulnerability. The vulnerability associated oftentimes with phishing scams, where people receive emails and they click on those emails and it inadvertently installs software, ransomware, and malware on the computer. So what organizations often want to do is remove the ability of local Windows admin rights, but then that creates another problem, which is that oftentimes people have to do tasks that they should be entitled to do, things like change the clock or add a printer. They might want to have to add an application that's been approved by your organization, or they might try to add an application that's denied. Privilege Manager is solely designed for the very same purpose, is to allow zero trust at the endpoint, giving users just the right amount of privilege so that they can do just the right amount of things that they should be able to do, empowering them to do their jobs, but not leaving any exposure for malicious behavior or external attackers to take advantage of your edge compute. And that's PETM. So that's half the PAM equation. So the other side of the equation is privileged account and session management. This comprises a variety of products, Secret Server being the flagship product. Secret Server is our core vaulting technology. Allows organizations the ability to go out, discover privileged accounts that exist in their environment, bring them into conformity in a 256 encrypted vault, and then adding a layer of automation around that vault to allow users to interact safely with passwords and keep in conformity with company policies and standards. In addition to that, we've built a product called Account Lifecycle Manager. What we've found in the market is that organizations oftentimes create privileged accounts, particularly service accounts, and they put them into use, but they never seem to get decommissioned. People don't decommission service accounts because of the fact that they oftentimes have dependencies. And so administrators come along, they find service accounts, they have anxiety about deprecating those accounts because they don't know what dependencies are on those accounts, and so they stay in existence indefinitely. And oftentimes they'll create additional service accounts, creating more of an attack surface. And so this problem is pretty common, and as such, we built a solution that allows you to manage and administer the cradle-to-grave process of creation, governance, and most importantly, decommissioning of service accounts. So Account Lifecycle Manager will control the entire process from creation to governance to the outcome, allowing organizations to provision, automatically put those accounts into a secured environment within the vault, and then most importantly, have a decommission date associated with it. There's a full workflow around this, so as the decommission date comes closer and closer, It can send out automated notices to let organizations know that this account's going to become decommissioned, and you can send it back through a workflow to reauthorize it if you want to continue to use it. The whole goal here is to reduce the attack surface that organizations have around service accounts. Connection Manager is a productivity hack. It allows your admins to do multiple sessions from a single console, making them more efficient in their day-to-day activities. And DevOps Secrets Vault is our machine-to-machine or automated use case for vaulting. Organizations now, are more often than not, are starting to engage in custom applications and different types of machine-to-machine type interactions, particularly in the CI/CD pipeline. And oftentimes in the CI/CD pipeline with custom applications, developers will hard code credentials in clear text. This is a big no-no. So you want to go out and be able to discover those hard-coded credentials, tokenize them, and be able to call them up in a 256 encrypted vault and automate that process. We like to think of it as machine-to-machine speed for vaulting. And then lastly, the platform. So the platform is where we get excited because we see the convergence of the two worlds coming together. PASM and PETM in a singular experience. Each of the previous discrete applications you saw on the earlier slide will plug into a singular UX that will have a set of common shared services across them. Common shared services that are needed across each application, things like session management and session monitoring, keystroke logging and recording. Maybe it's 2FA. 2FA not only to log into the application itself, but potentially two-factor to the server, and soon to be announced two-factor at a secret level. Things also such as user behavior analytics. People are engaging with your applications all across the privilege spectrum. You want to be able to potentially look at user information, user behavior information and metadata to correlate that information to calculate potentially threatening activities, flag them, and take appropriate actions. The idea of the platform is really to drive value across the entire privilege lifecycle. So whether you're vaulting credentials, whether you're brokering access just in time, whether you're creating, governing, or decommissioning service accounts, whether you're trying to tokenize and harden your CI/CD pipeline, your automated use cases, the platform is going to have a discrete application that's going to scale and plug into each of your needs. And along the way, we're going to have those shared services that are necessary across the spectrum of all the applications. This represents a completely new and unique approach to privilege account management. We'll be the only organization in the market today that has a SaaS-based platform that allows you the ability to do all these different functions from a common look and feel and a common experience. With that, we'll bring the ethos of both companies: extensibility, elasticity, ease of use, ease of adoption, as well as highly scalable and highly performative for organizations of all shapes and sizes. So you can't focus exclusively on great products. It's got to have a great company backing it. And Thycotic Centrify is just that. The slide before you, you'll see a whole bunch of different information, but there's one thing that I like to point out the most. Now, it's always important to gain the affirmation of the analysts, and we certainly work diligently to do that. But it's my opinion that the voice of the customer is far more important. And you can see that there's one that says 500 plus. Gartner has a site, Gartner Peer Reviews, and you're all welcome to go to it. It's a site where organizations go and they write about their experiences working with software vendors. If you look up the reviews associated with privileged access management, you'll come to find that Thycotic Centrify has the greatest number of overall reviews, and it has the most number of 5-star reviews. I think it speaks volumes. And if you look at the commentary that's in the Gartner peer reviews, you're going to see the same themes come out over and over again. Ease of use, ease of adoption, fast time to value, satisfaction in terms of their user experience, both with the product as well as the engagement with us as a company. In fact, it leads to very high CSAT scores, which you can also see here on the screen, 4.8 out of 5. Not only do we have great support and great reviews, we also have an incredible innovation pipeline. 45 combined product releases in 2020 alone, and we're just getting warmed up. All this leads to an incredible customer base, companies of all sizes and verticals, all industries, all over the world, whether it's an organization like SAP running our product at scale globally, or an organization like the New Belgium Brewery Company, one of my favorites. I'm going to talk a little bit about one that I had a personal experience and the pleasure of working with, and that's Deloitte. I think it's a great testament to end the discussion here this morning. Deloitte has a considerable identity security and privilege access management practice. They're one of the leading consultancies in deploying privilege access management solutions worldwide. So when it came time for them to choose a privileged access management solution, Who did they choose? They chose Thycotic Centrify. And today they have it deployed in 36 member firms worldwide. A very happy customer, and I had the great pleasure of working with them. So with that, I'd like to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody's time here today. And again, please feel free to think of me as a resource. I'm a salesperson first. I'm here to empower each and every one of you. We're very excited about our channel partners and all of our different modes to market through distribution. In fact, each and every one of you here today represents our primary go-to-market motion for our international sales. And so you have my utmost support in all of your activities. Feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I certainly appreciate your attention and efforts here today. Thanks a lot.
Agradecemos a Damon Tompkins por su participación en el IT Solutions Day.